Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to dive deeper into some questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram, a little bit of a Q&A, get to know me. I feel like on Instagram and on TikTok I share more about my life. So I'm starting to dive deeper into what I do on a day-to-day basis, and I thought what better way to get to know me than doing a Q&A. So I will just get right into the questions. I also do Q&As kind of frequently on my Instagram, and I think it's a great way for you to ask me questions. Obviously, also get to know me, my opinion on things. And so if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll have it linked below, but also it's Madeline B Health. So make sure to follow me on Instagram. I feel like on Instagram, I really dive deeper into kind of who I am, what I do, especially on Instagram stories. So let's start with the questions. And the first one is, can you talk about your various income streams? So in the last year, kind of a backstory, I quit corporate like this time last year. It was April. I guess it's been a year and 2 months. So it was like April 2022 that I quit. And I am like a huge person for people quitting their jobs, getting out of the corporate system, out of the matrix, soul-sucking jobs. And you guys probably see that if you follow me on my Instagram. I think that there's so much more to life than giving 40 plus hours of your work week to somebody else, making money for them. And I think nowadays in 2023, we have never had this much of an opportunity to make money online, to start businesses, to have resources. So I think it's really important if you have that entrepreneurial mindset or you want to step away from corporate, work on your own. There's so many different routes you can go. So for me personally, I've always worked in like the marketing, social media advertising fields in like the corporate world before I quit. And so I make money mainly just through my social media platforms, through TikTok and Instagram, doing brand partnerships. I even make a little bit of money doing affiliates. So if there's products that I promote that I like, and you guys probably can see that in my content when I do promote products, not much money, but it's something. I do have products I sell. So I have a course I sell. I do one-on-one coaching calls. I have ebooks. Sometimes I do UGC content. So brands will reach out to me and ask me to make videos for them, and depending on the usage and what they want to do with the video, if there's ownership and stuff, you can charge a lot for UGC user generated content. For you don't even post it on your page, it's just for the brand. I am also diving into some other entrepreneurial areas as well. I'm always just trying to grow and listen to my intuition. I've been feeling very creative recently, and so I want to create and kind of not step away from the health field, but do something that is more of a passion project that allows me to kind of completely disconnect from electronics in my phone and the computer and stuff. Because obviously, as you guys know, I work in social media. I'm always on my phone, and I love it. I love creating content. I love researching trends and all that, but it does become a lot when you are constantly connected and constantly working, even if it's like 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night, you're always connected. The second question is kombucha actually good for you? So I don't necessarily drink kombucha. I think that the acidity of it really, it gives me headaches. It doesn't make me feel great. So I don't personally drink it. In the past, I have cut out fermented foods like this, like kombucha and some other fermented foods, just because my stomach couldn't handle it. But now as you guys know on Instagram, I'm obsessed with pickles, especially Grillo's pickles. So I'm getting more into like the fermented foods and stuff now that my body can handle it. So I don't like to say like, is it good or bad for you? I would just recommend you seeing how you feel with it. I personally think that kombuchas are really acidic and they can be really harsh on your system. They do have some of that good probiotic stuff, but it's kind of like the acidity might outweigh that. And you can always get those probiotics and that culture from, like the good gut bacteria culture from a probiotic, or even just other probiotic rich foods like in fruits and vegetables. Okay, so another question is, how much time do you spend on your phone and what do you use your phone for mainly? So this kind of ties into what I was just talking about. To be honest, I've been wanting to look at my screen time in the iPhone setting, but I am like honestly kind of terrified because it's gonna freak me out, because I spend hours a day on my phone, like hours. And sometimes it's recently been getting to me, like I don't like being so connected, like as much connected. So like if I go to the beach or on a walk, or if I'm like leaving the house with someone, I don't like leaving the house without my phone, specifically for like safety reasons or emergency reasons. In Miami, you need your phone to pay for parking, and so I use my phone to pay with Apple Pay and stuff like that. So if I'm leaving the house with someone, like my sister or my mom or whatever, I'll leave my phone at home. So yeah, I spend a lot of time on my phone. I don't know, it's hours. Like I do everything on my phone, from like my meditation music to posting to engaging to researching trends to like everything. So I mean, it's everything from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, my emails, social media, texting, like everything. And so I would say you mainly use my phone for communicating, so like FaceTime, text, all that stuff, brainstorming with people in my industry, stuff like that, and social media, content creation. I'm always taking videos and pictures of things because I utilize it in my social media content. So I would say like a lot of my phone use is also photos and videos and just documenting my life. How did you get started with social media? So like I said, I have always worked in like the marketing, ad, social media space. And it was 2020, just like everybody else. I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I flew to South Florida to be with my family because I was working, everything went remote. So I was in South Florida at my family's house for like, I don't know, 3 months. And this was when like in my healing journey, I really started to see that shift from like that sick identity, and I just completely did like a 180 and like blossomed into my own. And it was actually my mom. She kept seeing things on Instagram, and she was like, these people are going through similar things as you. Like, you should comment and just tell them your story and say like how you healed and all this stuff. And so I started just like commenting and connecting with people on my personal Instagram. And then I woke up the next morning and I had like 200 followers, and I was like, I didn't know that was like, I had no idea that was going to happen. So then I was like, oh, I might as well make like a secondary page and focus on health and just see how it happens, or like see what happens. My health account now, I originally started a health account in like college in like 2016. I had like 200 or 300 followers, and just like some like posting like once a month or once every 2 months or whatever. So I kind of revamped that, rebranded that, and then I just went full force. And like within a month, I had 1,000 followers. Within 2 months, I had 2,000 followers, and then 5,000, and it just kept growing. And I actually didn't start on TikTok until like, I was posting casually here and there, but until like 2021, one of my friends actually helped me, who is also big on TikTok, Rosie. I don't know if she's watching this, but shout out Rosie. She is really the reason why I have my TikTok following today. My page is what it is today. So she kind of taught me the ins and outs of TikTok, because Instagram and TikTok are two different kind of ballparks. And so it wasn't until like the end of 2021 when I started posting on TikTok, and like I had a few videos get like 3 million, 5 million views. And so it was kind of just like literally within like 2 weeks, I had like 150,000 followers on TikTok, which was mind blowing. So then I kind of just dove into the whole TikTok thing. That's how I got here. So it kind of started with Instagram, and then you just kind of start building from there. TikTok, I actually first started on YouTube. Before I even started like seriously posting on Instagram, I actually started on YouTube. Which really helped me because that kind of gave me like a foundation following. And so that's kind of why, if you scroll back on my YouTube channel, you'll see like maybe like 3 years ago. I've like my first videos and they're horrible, but I'm keeping them up there to show myself the growth and the progress that I've made. Was it scary quitting your corporate job? Yes, it was really scary, just jumping into the unknown and the uncertainty. Obviously, like in this system that we're in, you are so married to the idea that every 2 weeks you have money. And when you're an entrepreneur, your money comes when it comes. Your deals come when they come. Your clients come when they come. And so you kind of have to manage all of that and change your mindset around kind of the 2-week paycheck, which was a little bit scary and something that I wasn't used to. So yeah, it was scary at first, but I'm somebody who's been really responsible financially, and so I've always had a savings account. I always remind myself that I've never not taken care of myself financially. There's never been a situation where I haven't been able to pay rent or my credit card bill or whatever it may be. And so quitting corporate really made me have faith in myself and faith in the universe and just trust that the process was working out the way it was supposed to work out. And so I think that when you jump into something scary and something that's fearful to you, the universe is only going to reward you. I was thinking about quitting my corporate job for maybe like 3 months, 4 months, and I knew it was not going to be longer than like being there for 6 months to a year. It was a situation where I just knew that I needed more for myself, and I knew that I had to give myself the chance and the opportunity, not to prove it to myself or prove it to anybody, but give myself what I've been dreaming of, working for myself, not being confined to somebody, not having a boss, not having somebody tell me what to do, not having somebody tell me where I had to be, when I had to be, how I had to act, what I had to do, what I had to wear, how I had to participate, how I had to do this. If I felt sick, I still had to come into work, like none of that. And so I kind of just took a leap of faith and it worked out. And like I said, it's scary, but it's taught me in the last year, I have learned so much about like mental, emotional, and spiritual side to everything in life. It's like, it was like the best teaching thing I could have done for myself. How to have a better mindset around money. Something that really changed my mindset is that money is energy. It's an exchange for energy. It's either an exchange for you going into work, it's an exchange for you going to the grocery store and getting food. It's all an energy exchange. And I stopped seeing things as like transactional. I stopped seeing things like, oh, it's another $75 on my card, or it's another $100 of groceries. It's another X amount for rent, X amount for gas. Like I stopped seeing that, and I rather saw it as enhancing my life. When I buy groceries, instead of being like, oh shoot, I just spent $150 on groceries, I look at it as like, wow, my refrigerator's packed. It's organic food. It's healing. It's all stuff that I'm excited to do. Like I love cooking. I love grocery shopping. Like it's things that excite me. And so it's really just important to not have a scarcity mindset behind it. Like if you have a scarcity mindset behind money, then you're never gonna, or I believe that you're never gonna really have an abundance of it. And money comes and money goes. It's like one of those things that will always come back to you. And on the contrary, one of those other things that never comes back to you is time. So I have the time, the freedom to do what I want right now. I think that in your 20s, it's your time to experience. It's your time to start a company. It's your time to quit a corporate job if you don't want to work it. And that money will come back, but that time won't. It took me like a long process to get here, but I remind myself that I've never not been taken care of. There's always been situations where more money comes to me, more opportunities come to me. And even like right now, I'm in this transitionary phase where I don't really know what my business is doing. Some ways that I was making money, those doors are closing and new doors aren't opening yet. And so I'm just in this like figuring out phase, but I think it's obviously important you always have to be financially responsible. So you obviously have to be financially like reasonable. I'm not going to go spend money and like blow it on all this stuff that I don't have. But one thing that my parents taught me is taking calculated risks. Also, I think is like a self-respect thing. Like it's a self-love thing. Like if I want something and it's going to benefit myself in some way, shape, or form, it's a form of self-love and self-respect. What corporate jobs did you work? I graduated college in 2018, a few months later, I had moved to Los Angeles because I got a job in sales, and I am not a salesperson whatsoever. I have always been a creative person. I have always loved creating things. I've always loved arts and crafts. I've always loved that side of it. I am not a salesperson. I am somebody who, if I don't want to be there, if I don't like your energy, if I don't want to participate, I can't fake it. I used to think that was a bad thing about me, but like, I personally think that I am somebody who like keeps it real. And if I don't want to do something, if I don't want, like, I'm not here to schmooze people, and that's what sales is. And so I think I worked this job for like maybe 6 weeks maybe. And looking back, it was just a whole universe thing, because if I had not quit that job, I probably wouldn't have ended up where I am right now. So that's just another thing that also helps me keep faith with my timeline and that the universe is kind of on my side, is that I look back at like how my life has gone and I realize like, wow, like the universe really did have my back and things were happening for my greater good. So I had this sales job. I quit it within like 6 weeks. It just like, it was not me. The work, the people, the energy just was not me. So I quit, and I remember I was like so distraught. I was like, what do I do? This is so scary, because it was like this societal pressure, like you just graduated college, you need to have a job, you need to do this, and you need to like be on track and get promoted and do like all that like talk that's being screamed down your throat. So I remember it was like a Tuesday. I literally got home. I drove to Malibu. I like spent the day at the beach, and I was like, wow, it's a Tuesday. This is insane. Like, it's dead. Like, I'm spending time at the beach. Like, I was actually like so sad and grateful at the same time that I was like out of that miserable job. And then like literally 2 days later, I got an opportunity at this startup tech company, which at the time my brother worked at. My brother's like a data engineer, like a coder. And so they had a job opening there. And so it was amazing. I loved working for startups, having that like chiller vibe, no dress code, work from home situation. So I did that for about 9 months, and it was like the greatest transitionary job that I could have had. I was still young. I was just had started my healing journey. And actually at that job, I met my friend Kayla, who's one of my really good friends from LA. And at that time we were going through our healing. We were figuring it out. Like, we were just newly grads, and she was like a blessing. Like, I really think that the only reason I was connected to that job was to become friends with Kayla. So I always try to like remember things and like think of like why the universe placed me like on this path. And so after that job, I was there for like 9 or 10 months. I then got a job at Condé Nast. And if you know Condé Nast, they own like Vogue, Vanity Fair, GQ, Bon Appetit, Arc Digest, Teen Vogue, all of those magazines and those brands. And so I got a job. It was like a sales associate role. So I was doing cool things. At one point I was working on the fashion team. So I was doing GQ, Vanity Fair, Vogue. At one point I was doing all home and travel. So Condé Nast Traveler, Arc Digest, working with really cool, like big name brands. I got to actually go to like some cool events in LA, which was really amazing. My bosses at Condé Nast were amazing. I mean, they still are amazing people. And that was a job that it was like more corporate, but it also wasn't like too corporate, where my team was like close knit. It was more chill, and I really, really enjoyed that job. And I actually got this, this is like one of my favorite magazines. It was like the Virgil Abloh, Karl Lagerfeld. I think it was some like anniversary. Maybe it was a Disney anniversary or something. This is a like really cool something that I got from working at Condé Nast. Then I quit because I wasn't going to go back to LA. I knew that I was going to be moving to Miami. And so I had like a 6 months where I wasn't working a corporate job, and I was just focusing on like my health stuff, building that up, which was a really pivotal time for me to just kind of build my brand. I got another job when I moved to Miami at a plant-based hospitality group doing marketing. I kind of explained a little bit about that before, but I just kind of knew that that was more of a transitionary job to get me to work for myself full time. How expensive is Miami? I think living in any big city, it's going to be expensive. Like rent is going to be anywhere from like $1,500 to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. Like I said, like New York, LA, Chicago, Boston, Miami, you're living in big cities, so it's going to be expensive. Just for like reference and transparency, I live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. I think it's like 1,200 square feet maybe. Gym, pool, secured package lockers, all those amenities. And I pay like $2,200 a month, maybe $2,300 with utilities or something, just for my portion. That might be a lot, but again, you're living in any city, and I feel like if you live in LA, like when I lived in LA, I paid $1,600 for my portion for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and the laundry situation was garbage. Homeless people broke into my apartment. My car got broken into. Like, I was still paying $1,600 for shit condition. So in Miami, you definitely do get more for your money. And I would say like day to day, I would say Miami is like relative. Maybe it's a little cheaper than LA. I don't really remember. What kind of water do you drink, bottle or tap? Never ever tap water, or I try not to. Bottled water, I'm really picky about it because bottled water is essentially just glorified tap water. If I do drink bottled water, I like for it to be like natural spring water, like Mountain Valley, especially in glass bottles, no plastic, or I try not to do plastic because of the micro plastics that can be leaked into your body. But for the most part, I really just filter it at home. If I'm leaving the house, I make sure to bring like a big 32-ounce water bottle with me so I know that I'm always prepared. If I'm drinking water at a restaurant, I'm always ordering a bottle of water and just doing my best and what I can in every situation. What was your childhood like? Family is very like family oriented. We are very social people, very family and friend oriented, like parties at the house, play dates. Like there was always people in and out of our house. My mom is really good at cooking, and so everything kind of revolved around food, whether it was like my core memories growing up were like grocery shopping. Like even still to this day, I love going to Costco. I love grocery shopping with my mom. I love sitting in the kitchen watching her cook. My childhood was just basically like based around just like traveling, eating, cooking, family time, spending time outside. It was kind of like more of like, I guess like a normal childhood. I don't really know how to explain it, but really based around like natural healing and living. Like I said, like everything was almost always homemade, and my mom really taught us like the importance of cooking food, traveling, and like learning other people's ethnicities and backgrounds. What do you do with your filled journals? I always keep them. I don't really reference back at them much, but in my closet I have a stack of my old journals. Like even in college, I studied abroad. I did semester at sea, so I essentially lived on like a cruise ship for 4 months, and I went to like 14 different countries or something. And so I journaled everything, and it was more just like day to day what I was doing, not like how I was feeling. But even like that journal I'll keep for the rest of my life. My filled journals, I just keep them because one day I want to look back at them. Like even my journal now, this is my active journal, and I haven't even like gone back to the beginning of these pages since I wrote them. Like, I don't know, I just feel like my journaling is like me getting things out in the present moment, and I don't really feel the need to like kind of go back and look at them again. But I want to keep them if I do. What do you do with the veggies after making broth with them? So I don't normally make my own veggie broth. I just think it is another added step. Eventually I will, but after you use the veggies in your veggie stock, you can compost them. If you have a composter, you can bring them to a composting center. A lot of towns usually have some sort of composting center that you can participate in, or you can just discard them. Just happy you are back on YouTube. Please make more content. I loved your Barcelona vlog. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yes, I have the intention and I feel called to continue YouTube, just continue sharing my journey and kind of dive more deeper into like lifestyle, day-to-day vlogs, cooking series, all that stuff. So definitely going to be focusing more on YouTube now as well. Want to move to Florida to live my purpose and passion, places you recommend for holistic lifestyle. So I feel like Florida in general is more healing just because it's always sunny. You have a lot of nature, beach, ocean. There tends to be a lot of juice shops, coffee shops, farmers markets, especially in South Florida. You're so close to Homestead. There's so many farms, tropical fruit trees. And like even the other day I was walking down the street and I just saw like a jackfruit tree literally on like the parkway, and I was like, this is very weird. Why is there a jackfruit tree here? But it was amazing. So I think it just depends on the type of vibe that you want in Florida. So Miami is obviously going to be like more young, upbeat, clubbing, partying, but there's also a massive side to Miami that is healing, like the farmers markets. There's a lot of yoga events. There's a lot of sober things. There's like a huge health and wellness scene in Miami as well. But then you have like Jupiter, West Palm, Delray. Those are like cuter, smaller beach towns. And you can even go like up to Jacksonville, or there's Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Sarasota, or there's Naples, Fort Myers. So it kind of just really depends on like the vibe you want, what you like, how much you want to pay for rent or mortgage or whatever. Also like living in Florida and finding housing in Florida is like kind of more difficult. As you guys know, since like 2020, everybody wants to be here. So yeah, kind of just, I think that Florida in general has like a huge healing, holistic healing energy and vibe just because of like the natural state of it. So it really just depends on like what you're looking for in a place where you live. Is it true that olive oil can become toxic if heated? Yes. So I think the smoke point for olive oil is 350. Avocado oil, the smoke point is I want to say 500 or something. Once it reaches its smoke point, I believe it can become rancid. Another thing with olive oil is that a lot of olive oil just naturally is already rancid because of the origin, how they extract it and things like that. So it's super important, just because it says it's olive oil. You want to make sure like you look at the bottle and like see if it was imported, if it was a single origin. So you want it to be like just from Spain or Greece or Italy. Like you don't want it to say like Greece, Italy, Spain. You don't like, you kind of have to look at the back of it and make sure. Like I would always dry cold pressed, extra virgin, organic, and single origin. Same for avocado oil. A lot of avocado oils are rancid, so I would say Chosen Foods, and I think it's Mariana's is another brand at Costco. Those are like the two that have been tested for being like the safe olive oil or avocado oils. Books you have read. So I think I have some right here. I started like Joe Dispenza. That's one the books that I first started diving into, the Becoming Supernatural, and that was like pretty hard for me to understand, and I just don't think I was in the right place of my journey, but I think it can be a super helpful book to some. The Power of Now, I'm reading that next. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This is amazing. Your subconscious mind holds on to a lot of beliefs and negative energy. This has been great. The Four Agreements is also like a smaller book, easier read. That was amazing. The Art of Love, maybe. It's by the same author as The Four Agreements. Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks is also amazing, and I'll link some book recs for you guys down below as well. Just want to say thank you for sharing your story and helping so many people heal. Oh, that makes me so happy. I share my journey just to kind of connect with other people and show you guys like what I've gone through, how I've healed, and it makes me happy knowing that so many of you have resonated and benefited from my content as well. How did you find like-minded people in the something and you didn't ever struggle feeling lonely? One of the biggest things that I can recommend for finding like-minded people is getting rid of people that no longer resonate with you. This might be uncomfortable, it might be a weird transitionary period, but the best thing I did for me was cut out people that didn't see my worth, that didn't respect me, that didn't understand me, that didn't understand my lifestyle and my diet, that didn't really want to be my friend when drinking and partying and alcohol wasn't involved, that were not there for my greater good, that didn't check in on me. So I kind of like analyzed, I would say in like 2020, 2021. I think it also has to do with kind of like your self-respect and self-worth and self-love. Like I realized that there were a lot of people in my life that just didn't like, they simply just didn't support me, and that was something that I no longer could do. So it wasn't like harsh feelings or anything, but it was just natural. Like I had a few girlfriends that did some things and it was the last straw, and I was like, you know, I just don't want this energy. I can't surround myself by it. And naturally they became replaced with people who I resonate with, who are like sisters to me now. And a lot of people, like, you can connect with people anyway. Like I've met a lot of my friends through social media, and it just happens that our paths have crossed. Some of them have moved to Florida, some of them live in Miami, some of them live in the Midwest, so when I go home for the summer I see some of them there. So yeah, it kind of is just, once you cut out the people that no longer serve you, it should be a natural process, and if you're on the same wavelength as other people, that your lives will cross. Have you always tanned easily? Your skin is so gorgeous. I'm very pale and wondering if it's ... Thank you. That is so nice of you. Yes, I've always had darker skin my entire life. My mom is Lebanese and Armenian, so she naturally has dark skin. My dad also naturally has dark skin, so it only made sense that my siblings and we all have dark skin. We always are outside, working out outside, boat, pool, beach. We're just always like, any chance that we can be outside, we are. So that also really helps. I think it really helps to not hide from the sun. Like my entire life have never hid from the sun. My mom has never really supported sunscreen. She has always understood like the toxins that are in sunscreen. And so my sun exposure was never blocked, even from a child. I always ran around in the sun and I've turned out fine. Yeah, I'm blessed that I was born with dark skin, but it also kind of matters, like your diet, what you're feeding yourself. And there's a huge correlation between kind of your diet and lifestyle and like sunburning and issues with the sun. And so yeah, pillow and mattress brand that is clean. So as you guys can see, I'm right next to my bed. I have a Happsy, Happsy. I have their mattress topper, sheets, pillows, and then this is my own bedding. I think this is from a Portuguese brand, I want to say, and this too. I'm not too sure where this is from. When I moved to Miami, my mom got me all this nice bedding. The mattress and the brand Happsy is 100% cotton and wool, so no toxins, nothing, organic, everything. They have really good customer service, shipping, warranties. If you don't like it, you can send it back, type of thing. So yes, I would recommend Happsy. Are you vegetarian or vegan? Do you practice Ayurveda? I do not. And I don't really know how to answer that. I'm not vegan, but I'm also not vegetarian because I don't eat dairy or eggs. But I'm at this point where I just don't really want labels on anything. If I want to eat something, I'm going to eat it. If I don't want to eat something, I'm not going to eat it. So right now I am eating seafood and looking to add in more other foods, specifically for more nutrients into my diet. But yeah, I just like have kind of gone away from the labels and intuitively eat anything. Not really anything, but like I'm always promoting people eating real foods. So like no toxic oils, no like processed sugars. I really just like want to get back to the basics and intuitively freely move and eat how I want. What are you excited for this summer? I'm in the process of planning a trip. I don't know where. My sister and I are very indecisive, like where we want to go. We're thinking Europe, but then like Europe in the summer is insane. So we're thinking like maybe late summer, early fall, but then we could do like the Virgin Islands or like some of the islands like right by Florida. And we could do South America or Central America. So we're in the process of planning a trip, but I'm also just excited for like what the future holds. Like I'm in a lot of like transition uncertainty right now. So I'm excited for kind of to see myself blossom and grow and heal more. Thoughts on lack of salt and fats? Been hearing a lot of negativities around it lately. Yeah, I don't really like mean or want to bring any negativity to this topic or subject, but I've always consumed fats. I've always consumed salts. Like I've explained before, like my mom and the way we grew up eating and cooking contains a lot of high quality olive oil and a lot of high quality sea salt, and those were just two things that I couldn't give up. I've always consume those. I have been cautious and limited them, like pulled back a little. Before I started my healing journey, we would put like douse everything in oil, like it was, because that's just how our food is. It's super flavorful and garlicky and oily and salty. So my thoughts on it, I think that the human body needs fat. I don't think it needs to be gluttonous. I don't think anything needs to be gluttonous. Just like I don't think we should be consuming meat for every single meal. I don't think we should be consuming eggs for every single meal. Like I think it should just be more of like casual situation. Like don't overdo anything. And so yeah, I've always consumed high quality olive oil and high quality sea salt, and I think it completely elevates and changes a meal, and I will stand by that for the rest of my life. And I will continue to cook with olive oil and sea salt simply just because of like the taste. Like if I don't have olive oil and sea salt on my food, it just like doesn't bring me as much happiness and joy, like simply put. But as far as like salt, I would always make sure that it's sea salt. I would never ever consume a processed iodized table salt. Okay, that is it for all of the questions. Thank you guys for submitting these. This was super fun. I'm gonna, like I said, continue doing these. Kind of just like check-ins and get to know more about me. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because I always do Q&As just to connect and chit chat. If you have any comments or video request ideas or anything, just leave them down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon.